Hello, everybody. It's JB, Jeremy Borash. It is the end of 2014, and tradition has it, I always ask TNA President Dixie Carter to sit down with me for a few minutes. I wanted to get the exclusive scoop. I see you have a big media schedule coming up, doing all kinds of interviews. I want to get the first scoop. I wanted the exclusive. I'm selfish that way.
Well, this is kind of our tradition, isn't it, to talk?
It is.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm a little under the weather, so you'll have to excuse me.
You have a lot to look back on in 2014 and a lot to look forward to in 2015. Let's start with the previous year. Let's talk about Spike TV, the transition. What are you going to look back on in 2014, and what's going to be kind of the first thing that comes to your head?
Well, I think, 2014, it's a year I'm really proud of. I think we did a lot of things right. I'm proud of some of the changes that we made to the show, the wrestling, the storylines, going back to the move back to the six-sided ring. I think, letting the fans vote on that, which, by the way, I have to say the fact that it was high 80% for the change was shocking to me and just, validated. I don't think I could have made that decision with 80% certainty that it was the right one. So, I think, it was a really good year, but it's definitely a transitional year. The last half of the year, 3/4 of the year, I was in negotiation mode with a lot of different networks, taking a lot of different meetings. And so that's always a little bit different year for me personally, for my focus and what's going on. But I think for what people saw, I'm proud. It was a good year.
Talk about Spike itself and, the relationship throughout the months coming into what we've seen now and going into the end of the year.
Yeah, I will forever be grateful to Spike TV for giving us such an amazing national platform. And they really have been great partners. Kevin Kay and I have a fantastic relationship. I think the absolute world of him and, our executive in charge, Scott Fishman, and the whole team. But we'd been there a long time. We'd had a lot of great success for them, for ourselves. And, Kevin and I talked early in the year, and I just said to him, I feel like we have to have something different. We can't just be status quo going into a new deal. It can't just be, the 2-hour impact. We've got to grow our brand and do some things differently and really shake it up. And I think that's the main reason. So, that was the tone of all of my conversations with networks is, I'm not interested in having somebody pick up our 2-hour show. I'm interested in somebody becoming a partner on a much bigger level. And, this company needed that. I think we deserve it. But as it relates to Spike, I will always be a huge fan of theirs. We'll support them in any way. Hope to stay connected through having talent that also fights on Bellator. It was a great ride.
When it came down to decision time and the announcement was, forthcoming, and we heard an announcement was coming, what were those last couple of days, last couple of weeks like going into the announcement and the final decisions?
Well, it's so hard because you want to be able to give everybody all the details. And, especially with the talent, you were there, through the television tapings when we were really it was much more of an open kind of, this is the first time I've ever played out television negotiations so publicly, where there's so much speculation and it's constantly being talked about on social media and people, trying to figure out what's going on. I mean, it was like that a little bit several years ago, but nothing like this time. And so, I told the talent as much as I possibly could, and that is, please just trust me. And I wish I could tell you every little detail, but that's not going to help you. You just need to know that what I'm looking for, and if you guys don't agree, you need to tell me right now, but what I'm looking for is something more. I'm looking for somebody to come in and, really try to help elevate our brand, try to expand it, to advertise on a different level, to promote us, across all platforms, to be proud of the fact that, we're going to be a centerpiece to a network. And I said it could be a smaller network. It could, I don't know what it's going to be yet. But if I can find somebody who supports that kind of strategy, then I think we'll have found our right place. And, every person, no one said anything else except for everybody came up to me. And there was a time at a talent meeting, I got pretty hot about that. I don't know if you remember it. I got pretty emotional about what I thought we deserved as a company and what I was fighting for. And, I've never had so many talent come up to me and just go, proud of you, keep that up. It's exactly what we need. It's exactly what we want. I believe, those kind of things really helped me because negotiations are a lonely process. There's not a lot of people who are involved in them. So when I was able to finally talk about it, and I knew for a few weeks that that's the decision that, we would probably make, but I was very glad to finally get it out.
You mentioned about the talent and the support that you saw, and I remember one wrestler specifically said point blank, look us in the eyes and tell us that there will be a TV deal. And without fail, without hesitating, you looked everyone in the eye and said, we will have a television deal. And I think that put a lot of the talent at ease. Were you surprised that, along the way, and morale seems to be a big topic right now in the locker rooms and whatnot, but the support that you did receive, and once they heard that come out of your mouth, do you think tensions were a little eased and people thought, okay, this is going to happen, and just let the people do their job that are supposed to do their job? That seemed to be the sentiment from my end of it in the locker room.
Well, you're a talent too, JB. You wear two hats, so you would have felt that. I never didn't feel 100% support from everybody. I think, there's always an uneasiness when it comes to change and, your future and things such as that. And everybody is worried about their own livelihoods. But, I've got hundreds and hundreds of people livelihoods that I was responsible for. And that's a huge responsibility that I didn't take lightly. And I was not going to let anybody down. It didn't matter what it was going to take. I was not going to let people down, but I also wasn't going to take a bad deal. And so that's what I'm most proud of. And everybody was great to a fault. I mean, I felt like, the locker room and the talent, it's been better than I ever remember it. We have babies backstage and, kids that are now walking and, wives and husbands. And it's a great atmosphere. And I'm really proud of that. And I think that helped. I think that helps everybody, that it's not stressful backstage, and that they do have the support of, their peers and the office and everything else. And that did help and support me tremendously.
Well, let's talk about the talent in 2015, Destination America, and what's going to be, making headlines. I think a lot of the moves, a lot of announcements that are going to be made. What was the response from talent as you broke the news and what they're looking out of this deal in 2015?
Well, I wanted to do it in person, obviously, but, we weren't able to do that. They were the first people that I told, and we all got on a conference call, and, the response was great. I had to have them open up the lines where I could just hear people talk, just to make it much more casual and informal in the way that we are. But, the great thing is I think everybody's supportive. I think everybody's excited about the potential, and they're doing that without even knowing just how different it's going to be. And that's what I'm excited about. I can't wait for, these meetings that we're having and these conversations that were happening and some of the changes that are going to happen, that these get out and they start to see the support on a different level. And just so many things. There are a lot of announcements coming. I know sometimes you say stay tuned, and but I really mean it, stay tuned. I mean, there is a lot of stuff, a lot of changes. We want, and I can't remember, it may have been Abyss or somebody on that call that said, this just really feels like a fresh start. And that has resonated with me so much that, you don't have opportunities all the time to have a fresh start. And we're looking at it like that. And we're looking at it that, just because we've done something in the past doesn't mean we have to do it moving forward. Do we want to break the mold in any way? What can we do to distinguish ourselves and our product? And that is really the focus of what we have going on right now.
I'd say a lot of rumors and a lot of speculation comes with that, announcements. And will we see things coming soon in terms of obviously more TV tapings, anything different about the TV show, talent even? Give us a little hint, a direction of what we're going to be seeing as far as those announcements.
Well, I can't do that. You know that. But I think that they'll start very soon. I think, I wouldn't be surprised if you don't start hearing something, once a week about something that's going to change or be different. And it's real substantive stuff. And, that's what I'm excited about. It's, maybe some things will be tweaks, but I think there's some real meat to some of the changes that we want to make. And, will there be some new faces? Absolutely there will be. I loved this year. What I loved about this year is how we had some really great talent come back. And I love that. I love when somebody is no longer with us. I mean, it's never like goodbye. It's just, I always want that door to be left open. And I think we had some great talent come back and just knock it out of the park this year. Hopefully there'll be some more faces return and then some new people joining us that have never been with us before. I'm really excited about that. I love this young roster that we have right now. I think, looking back, I think this is probably the best, freshest group of young talent that we've ever had. And I just, I can't say enough good things about them. I have to give credit, to John Gaborik, our head of talent relations and television creative. That was a real focus of his. And Spike was very supportive of us, taking a step back to take a major step forward in our future. And that is giving a lot of real estate on our show, a lot of television time to kids who had never been seen before. And I think we have, they're just have the best attitudes and are so great to be around, and their work rate is incredible, and they do whatever's asked, and they've been such a great addition to, I think, even challenging the veterans. I love that they're coming in with such a confidence, and they want a top spot, and they're working really hard to get it. And I think there's been some that have made massive strides in such a short period of time that I don't ever remember us having that kind of success with new talent in such a short time.
And you mentioned, you're right, it does cover like the returning talent. The Low Keys had an incredible year. Matt Hardy comes back and does, Jeff Hardy obviously maintains a great level of excellence. Kurt Angle's another name that's been talked about the last couple months, and I think yesterday or day before he announced on Vince Russo's podcast that he was staying with TNA.
What?
Did
he really?
He did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll consider that a signed deal then.
Is that deal? That's a signed deal. That.
There we go. It's done. Yeah, Kurt's back.
Great.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Good. I love that.
That's an exclusive.
I love that. You just scooped me.
Exclusive, yes.
Okay, great. No, you know what? Every deal that I've ever done with Kurt has been about like that. I mean, the first time I ever met with him, Jeff and I went to his home and met with him, and I think there was a piece of paper that was scribbled on and faxed back and forth by that night. And, it's just, he's let me say this about him. I've always been very vocal about saying I want Kurt to retire in TNA. He was our first massive signing. What he's meant to this company from the very beginning, I can't even put into words how much he's, carried the load and led, and just his work rate is just off the charts. But, he he brings so much to this company. I want to see him with us for the rest of his career. And when he decides to hang up his boots, I'd love to see him on the other side, because there are very few, brains, the psychology of wrestling that are as fantastic as his. And, but I want to see him do some new and exciting things, represent us on different levels that he's, done a little bit of in the past. But, I can't imagine having, at his age, and I tell you what, he's been injured. He's been working his butt off to get back. He is so ready to get back in that ring, and he's in amazing shape. His head's on straight. He's so focused. He's so excited. This could be the year of Kurt Angle. It really could be, and he deserves it. He's, he had some tough, injuries to come back from, but he's worked very hard, and he deserves it.
Another name we mention a lot is Jeff Hardy, obviously very popular. Matt's back with him now. There's another guy whose life has really turned around in the last year and a half, and now is really just better than ever. In terms of what he's bringing to the table, both in and out of the ring. Another success story.
Well, there's only one star that's bigger than Jeff Hardy, and that's Ruby Hardy.
No doubt.
His little girl is the biggest superstar backstage, and oh my gosh, and I think she and his incredible wife Beth, that's the reason that Jeff is in the place that he's at, and how lucky and fortunate that I am to have him at this time in his career. And he's so solid, and he's so wonderful, and there'll never be another Jeff Hardy on that level. And just his whole precious family, just very proud to have him a part of our team.
It's very nice, too, to see a very interactive roster as you have, and if you've encouraged, obviously, now seeing everybody change their logos and their screen pictures to Destination America, and everybody's really on board, excited about the new opportunities that await. What have you told the talent specifically and about Destination America? Tell us about the channel itself if people are not familiar, and why that was such a big decision for you to go with them.
Well, obviously it's a smaller channel, and I think if it was just looked at from an apples-to-apples standpoint on that channel versus Spike, you would look at me like I was crazy, to lose that many households, and that is our challenge on the network, but they are part of Discovery Communications, and from the top down. Number one, they're committed. One of their top priorities is to grow Destination America. It's already one of the 5 fastest growing cable networks on TV right now. But we are such a priority. That network is such a priority, and we are such a priority within that network. The support that they are promising across all of their platforms. They're the number one pay TV programmer in the world. This is a global deal. It's not a channel deal, and it's not just a broad U.S. deal with Discovery. This is a global deal, and I'm really excited. We've not even begun to scratch the surface, I think, on all that we can do together.
So there may be an opportunity for new international markets?
Absolutely, there will be. In markets that we've never been in and have great followings. I can't begin to tell you just how big they are globally. They're massive here, but just globally, it's replicated around the world. And I'm really excited about how far this reach will go.
And that's really a thing I think a lot of people are picking up on, is that it is a television deal, but there's a lot that encompasses what this is about. And it's the bigger scale, it's a grand scheme of things, and a global basis.
There will be other programming and some announcements about that sooner than later, and just how they're going to program Impact. There are some exciting changes as it relates to that. So. It's so much bigger than just an Impact deal on one network. It really is, and that's what I'm excited for everybody to start hearing, just how big this is. Let it unfold, and look, if we have success, there is no bigger deal that we could have done. There really isn't, and it is our intention to make Destination America a household name and deliver that to Discovery and be partners with them on every level.
Stay on the global basis for just a second. Two of our biggest international markets are India and the UK. A lot going on in both right now. Let's start with India. Let's talk about Shira and his incredible story to get to Impact Wrestling and the amount of people that are following him and watching him very closely in India.
Well, I have to tell you, when people really hear his story, it's almost, I mean, like, you could not write a movie script that would even encompass what's happened to this young man. And you talk about an incredible talent, humble, smart. I'm so excited to see this opportunity and what he does to take that and pay it forward and change other lives in India. We're really committed to that market. We've got some exciting news, soon that will be announced in India, and a lot of different things that we're going to be doing in that country. We have a ton of fans there. We've had a lot of success, but we've not even begun to scratch the surface of what we're going to do there.
And the United Kingdom. Obviously, British Boot Camp 2 has been a big success this season, a second season of that show. And the finale is this Sunday. And I know you've got a big decision to make.
I do. I'm very proud of this show. Ratings have doubled this year, and they were great the first year, the first season. So, I'm very, very happy with that. And, hopeful we can do a Boot Camp 3 because, there's so many things that we want to do and how we want to grow the show and make it better. But there's just an amazing amount of talent over there. And so I am really, struggling with that decision. And I felt like last season with Spud, there was, to me, that I went into it thinking, somebody else completely was going to win. And about, 2 episodes in, I was like, could this kid really be it? Could he be as special as I think he could be? And he has just so far exceeded my expectations. And I love that kid. And whoever wins has big shoes to fill, and he's worked his butt off to get, to the stage and really has knocked it out of the park. And but we've got, there's not that clear standout this year. I mean, I'm really struggling between, a few of them. And so it will be a big show.
All 6 have been added to the UK tour. This is going to be the second set of tapings after New York for TV. You just announced that all 6, or actually it'll be 6 events for television will be taped there, all 3 nights. That was a big announcement, obviously, but that tour is always shaping up to be such a huge event.
It is, and it's something I wanted to do, but I just had to make sure from a scheduling standpoint that the to be able to film TV would work there. And I'm so excited that we're going to go back and that we're bringing cameras, and the way we're bringing cameras is going to be different. And these kids, I mean, they're really making a mark over there, these contestants in this competition. And so I thought, what better way, to let, we're all about that fan experience. So why not let them, go out there when the doors open and let people get to meet them for, and take their picture with them and get their autograph. And I think that's going to be a fun. Me, I love the way, you program the music before the shows, and we want to make that kind of like a party from the time you walk in the door to the time you leave. It's just a party. And so I'm excited that the party's going to be extra special this year.
Well, certainly 2015 is starting right out of the gate, right in January. All systems go from the very first Destination America all the way to the UK. So January is going to be a huge month, obviously. Tell us about that first show. Tell us about what we can look forward to and Impact debuts on Destination America right in New York City.
Well, I'm really excited to go back to New York. And the last time I left there was not under such great conditions. I was carted out.
How is your back, by the way?
It's finally better.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's funny that people really don't realize, I guess because it's wrestling, realize how I did break my back in 3 places. But anyway, enough about me. I am really excited to go back there. I think the crowds and the energy, it's unlike anything. And I love that venue. I love it. It's so up close and personal. And every face is a part of the show, which I love. And I think that that's a real unique distinction for our show. So we've got some big things planned for those first few shows, some surprises, and some things that'll be announced literally in probably the next few days as it relates to it. So very excited.
And are you going to be breaking some of these announcements yourself, you think? Or we're going to find out these things first? Because I always have to have the scoop.
Oh, you want it
I want it first, yes. I want to try and scoop. I'm not going to scoop your own Twitter, because I think that's probably where we're going to see some of these things announced. Right?
Yeah, for sure. We'll do some of that, because I think the people that follow you and they want to know first, they deserve to hear. But we'll be announcing a lot of stuff, like I said, within the coming days, and that will affect the New York shows and just a lot of things coming up. So I will tell you for sure. Stay tuned.
Very informative.
We'll have to get back together where we can actually talk details of some of this stuff soon.
I like details, no doubt about it. Well, we're looking forward to what a 2015 we're shaping up to have, huh?
Absolutely. And happy holidays to everybody. And thank you for all your support. And let's gear up to have the best year that TNA's ever had, 2015.
This has been an exclusive with TNA President Dixie Carter on ImpactWrestling.com.